All right. I have a special guest today. It's my
Hello.
husband. I thought he might want to be part of a video where I talk about each spouse or partner being on their own personal development journey, because that's been a super important part of our marriage. And I know that that's a really great part of some people's marriages, and then also an area where a lot of people struggle because you're on different journeys. And one of the things that Brian and I like to talk about is that we think of each of us being on our own silo, like we're each on our own journey of personal development, growing up our silo. But then there needs to be this communication bridge back and forth from one spouse to the other. And we've found that the most important thing with these separate journeys is to focus on your own and be open and loving and patient towards the other person's journey, because you're not going to be in the same place at the same time. And to be very honest, I feel like Brian's been a very good consumer of personal development for a long time. Like, he loves to read and he could tell you all about tons of books on personal development, but he wasn't ready to take a look at himself and integrate those concepts and ideas into his own life. And it was frustrating for me sometimes. And I had to just really be patient and love him where he's at. And I've realized that you can't focus on the outcome and where you want them to be. If there's something that you want them to do, it's more about working on those things yourself. Like, okay, I really want Brian to integrate what he's learning, so I just have to do that by example and be supportive and give gratitude when he is taking those steps. So
I think I never had that realization that I was not working on myself, because when I was consuming all of this personal development stuff, like listening to the speakers, reading the books, the podcasts, audiobooks, all that stuff, I felt like, well, I'm working on my personal development. And Heidi was like really engaged in coaching and really like taking steps to make active changes in her life. And I was like, well, that's the way she's doing it. That's the way I'm doing it. And then I got a coach myself and started digging and diving a little bit, and then I kind of understand a little bit what she's saying. So it is about your own journey, and I couldn't come to that point until I made that realization for myself. And honestly, sometimes the nudge from the spouse is the thing that pushes you away. So there has to be like really good communication about how you are talking about things in a kind of an open communication way.
And I think you bring up a really great point about the nudge and a coach, because it's really hard to grow in your own personal development without the help of a coach. Like, you don't know where your hangups are. You don't know what stories you're creating about your life until someone can gently point them out to you. And honestly, it's usually not your spouse that should be the one to point those out to you.
No.
If you're having an open discussion about it and they ask for that feedback, that's different. But really having that coach or counselor in your life to help you with your growth is super important. And I'm going to close with this quote that I'm pretty sure I've used on another one of my IGTVs, is consumption without integration leads to frustration. So that's a very important part of personal development, is to not just be consuming, but really reflecting and journaling and seeking that assistance so that you can continue to grow and not get frustrated. Like, okay, I'm consuming all this stuff, but why don't I feel like I'm growing as a person? So, and just really love your spouse on every step of their journey. So have a great day.